All right, so now that I got a couple of people in here, um, I'm sorry for cutting out like that. It was actually a weather update on my phone, and yeah. Now that ejector, right, that we sat here and looked at on this gun, right behind the bolt, we saw the wiggle of the bolt, that kind of thing. That wasn't it. Also, I've changed cameras. I changed from my phone to webcams, right? So you got a little bit wider, but now rather than sitting here looking at y'all and I can sit here and read your comments, I'm going to have to look over here. Good thing about that is now I don't have to sit here and tap, tap, tap in order to see what the comments are. So I do apologize about that. Now, something else I'm noticing right off the bat, I'm going to try to angle it in such a way, right, is we've got a spring up here and it is warped and mangled, right? And that's right where the bolt goes past as well. So I'm going to take it out and try to give it a good old fashioned attitude adjustment. That one's going to be too small. So we've already sat here and had the question of what is my thoughts on Kimber 1911s. If you have any other questions, comments, or things of that nature, please let me know. Because now I can actually see them. But yeah, I don't know why, but I absolutely love 22s. I'm weird, right? I'm one of these people that sits here and goes, hey, I like 22s, but I also like, half-inch holes. But here's that spring, right? You can see it's kind of bent. It ain't supposed to be bent like that. So unfortunately, I can't do that right here in front of you because my workbench is not set up that way, right? So I'm going to go over here to the vise. Now, one thing I will make sure to tell everybody is polished hammer faces whenever you're working on this kind of stuff. So, also, if you hear a lot of static in the background, that's not actually static. That's rain. We're under tornado warnings. So, yeah, give me just a minute. I'll be right back. You can still kind of see me. Don't need to work this too much cold, but I don't want to heat it up because it's so thin. I'm going to lose its temper if I do. But I'm going to have to lose a little bit of the temper. Now, what I mostly use for this kind of work is just a propane torch, right? Propane gets hot enough to do most of the stuff that I need here in the shop. But if the need arises to where something with a little bit more heat, then I will make sure to break out the oxyacetylene. If I need more heat than that, then I've screwed up somewhere. I know this is the most interesting live video you're ever going to watch, right? Absolutely wonderful. I mean that fully facetiously. But then again, I don't understand why people watch me in the first place. Now, granted, before I fully reassemble this, I will be retempering this, okay? But it is good enough for right now. So I'm going to let that cool off. But with it removed, right, I'm actually going to sit here and see if that would fix the problem. If so, this customer is going to be overly joyed because he's just going to be out something small. Nope, that was not it. Rule Rider, what's stopping you? Right? Not trying to sound like a jerk or anything else. But seriously, what's stopping you from opening your own shop? Is it lack of knowledge? Because that's easy to fix, right? See, this thing just does not want to move. Okay. So with it together, it's not wanting to move. With it apart, that moves just fine. That moves just fine. Come on. So I found two issues, but not all the issues. Awesome. Love to hear that. I love to hear that people are getting into this business. But be ready, okay? This business is not for the faint of heart. Okay, what do I mean by that? I mean, you are going to screw up, and you are going to screw up royally. Ask me. I did a screw up today. Aha. I think I might have just figured it out. If I'm looking at this correctly, the top knuckle here, there's just too much material gone, right? So I've got two options. Because you can see in the receiver, if I can get the lighting right there, right above my finger, you see kind of a half circle, right? That's where this is actually riding and rotating, right? And if I line that up and put it right underneath the bolt where it's supposed to be, it is not grabbing properly. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is take a grease pencil, right? And inside here where it's supposed to line up at, I'm going to make a mark. Okay, and now remove the bolt. And you see that bright white line right there in front of my finger, right? That's where it needs to go. Reassemble this lever. Come on. Get under there, you little spring. Is that going to be tight, strong enough? No, it is not. Give me a punch. Now, Rule Rider, where are you looking at setting up a shop at? And have you been through any type of school or been formally trained or anything like that? Because those are two biggies, right? Because if you're sitting here and tell me that you're opening up in Starkville, Mississippi, that means you're going to be my competitor, and we can't be friends no more. I'm joking, of course. Or am I? The rain's starting to come in again, so this live's going to get shut down. All right. Just so y'all can see, maybe again, you still see that white line. I wish I had a light coming right here, but I don't have one yet. And you're not going to be able to see it. But this cocking lever, or the actual lever, right, is just a little short. So, yeah. And we are talking about probably 50 thousandths. So, yeah, that's a significant amount. So now what I'm going to do, because this spring has cooled down a little bit, And then this one goes back to the vault until I can order that part, which should be fun because, like I said, these are not impossible to find parts, but they're not incredibly easy to find parts either, right? And I'll probably just order a new one of these springs too, so I don't have to retemper this one. Because then, rather than just putting in an original that's already worn, so on and so forth, you've got a new one. Oh, but what about keeping all the original parts? Blah, blah, blah. All right, the customer will be given this part, right? Just to keep up with them, but this does not have a lot of historical significance, only to the customer. So, yeah. All right, in Minnesota, awesome. I already love it. Okay. And you're going to start off with schooling. What schooling are you going to go to? And I don't mean this mean, I don't mean this ugly when I tell you this. You think you have a good knowledge of firearms. I thought I had a good knowledge of firearms before I started school, and it was shortly thereafter that I sat here and realized I don't know jack about firearms. Right? So, yeah. Come on, there's two people watching, and only Rule Rider 88 is asking questions. I don't know who the other person is, but ask a question, by God. Make this more entertaining for people. Rather than just seeing some fat bearded guy sitting here and play with a gun half-ass off camera. Yeah, it's still not wanting to do it. Didn't think so, but okay, well, that's good. But you didn't answer the question. What school are you going to go to? Where are you going to learn to do all of this? Because this isn't something that I recommend people just learning from the University of YouTube. You can learn to replace a lot of parts, but you're not going to learn how to diagnose stuff like this, right? Because now I've sat here and spent this half hour or so working on this just to figure out something that might be right, might be wrong. Also, I can hear that the rain's moving in. So if it gets to a point in time where y'all can't hear me, please let me know. I'll end the live and we'll try again another day. Okay? This one's going back in the vault. All right, Rule Rider. What I will sit here and tell you, because you haven't answered my question, so I'm assuming that you still don't know. I am a fan of American Gunsmithing Institute, or AGI. That's where I went through school, right? I used to sit here and say I didn't have any problems with SDI, right? But after speaking with several people who have graduated from there, I have changed that tune, okay? I'm not saying that they are a bad company, they're just the company that I Penn Foster is a wonderful program, right? But they, much like several of these other places, you work on their time. I don't like that. Forgot my hammer. So with AGI, it was really on your schedule. They sit here and advertise, oh, you can do it in as little as 3 months. Yeah, if you don't have a life, right? Plain and simple. If you don't have a life, yeah, you can get it done in 3 months. If you've got any type of family or a job or something like that, it's going to take you about, depending on how hard you actually go at it, could take you about a year, right? That's if nothing really kind of stops your progress, right? But what could stop your progress? Life can stop your progress, right? Plain and simple. Now, this is a little handy rifle. They're extremely popular here in the state of Mississippi. They're breech action. They come in a wide range of calibers. You can switch them out to where, hey, I've got a 12 gauge shotgun barrel. Hey, I've got a 22 barrel, right? This one's in 35 Whelen. Customer states that every time he fires it, the gun will automatically break open, right? Now, there's 3 things that could cause this, okay? One, by which is one that I'm almost certain it is that shooter's error, okay? And what do I mean by that, right? If he's a lefty and he's got his thumb right up here, right, he could somehow manipulate that takedown lever. Hell, even right-handed, he might be able to, right? To where he's just somehow sitting on it to where it's just barely open, and then the recoil kind of finishes it off. Number 2 is there's actually a breech block down here. It could be worn or damaged, or it could be the spring as well. Yeah, these things are awesome. And to take them apart is really stinking simple, considering I'm not going to sit here and work on the barrel side. Come on, there we go. That one's tighter than usual. I'm not even going to dismount the scope, right? So the scope and everything can stay on here. Woo-wee! She is dirty too. All right, so I'm going to try to line this up. But you see that little block at the bottom is moving, right? Just like it's supposed to. The spring underneath it is working just like it's supposed to. But what it looks like is there's just a little sliver of brass down here. I can't show it to you because I can barely see it myself. But I'm going to try to just brush it off to the side with just an old toothbrush. There we go. Grab it with, come on. Yep, come on. I don't know where it went. And it appears to be forward enough because what actually happens is that bar that I sat here and showed you actually locks into this groove right here, right? So this groove still looks good, still looks nice, still looks clean, right? The extractor is working as it should, right? Doot, 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 doot. Sorry, I'm goofy. Pivot pin area still looks great. She's got wear, but she's not bad because that's something else that can also happen. Is this area here can actually wall her out a little bit, right? To where now there's a little too much pressure or too much room. So under pressure, this could actually be jolted forward and causing this space back here to, become wider and cause the gun to break open. But yeah, I'm thinking this is just going to get taken down tomorrow if the tornadoes don't take me away. And sonic cleaned and sent right back to the customer. Because, I mean, everything is feeling great. I think it's just mostly a dirtiness. Because everything else is just absolutely fine. That is still stupid tight. Now, I can also tell that this customer has not shot this thing in a while. Because look at how dirty that scope is. Like, my goodness. I can see through it, but it ain't nice to look at. So that'll get cleaned up and everything as well. Hey, I've got 3 people. I just noticed that. Why doesn't anybody else want to sit here and talk to me? You know what? No, I'm going to fix that because that drives me insane. I can tell that this customer just does not take overly good care of his firearms just by this. This is actually the sling swivel stud that's supposed to fit in the stock, right? As you see, it is rusted straight to the pin. It looks like they've tried to take it off in the past but couldn't. So I'm going to probably fix that today. So toothbrush, a little bit of Ballistol, because I'm one of these weird people that I like things to work the way they should, right? Plain and simple. It's not a matter of, yeah, it's broken, but I can, sit here and spend an extra 15 minutes to work around it. No, I hate that crap. Hate it with passion. But this stud is pretty much separated from the housing as well. Like you can sit here and see it wiggle, right? So yeah, let me see if I can get a big enough punch and slap the hell out of this thing. I can figure out a spot to put it. There we go. Big punch. You know what? Since I'm going to use a big punch, I might as well use a big hammer. Right? So my standard everyday hammer is a 4-ounce Vaughn. A lot of gunsmiths will prefer to use a 2-ounce. 2-ounce, I just don't feel like I can move anything. But little tip for you, right? These are the only 2 fingers that you're ever going to use. The rest are just kind of here to support, right? So all your grip and everything comes from your thumb and your forefinger. This one is about an 8-ounce. Didn't move. And yes, these guns are kind of fun to reassemble, but I have done it so much in recent years, it's really not that bad, being 100% honest. It'll take me about, I don't know, an hour to tear it apart, put it back together. That's doing it properly. Yes, I know I'm back over on the bench and y'all can barely see me, but it's okay. I have a feeling that we will get through this. Right? Right. All right. But pretty much all I'm doing is having the stud be held in on the vise and vise a little bit harder. There we go. Punch under there. Sorry, I thought I heard the tornado sirens there for a minute. So yeah, my fat ass was about to close this down and take out running. But yeah. Now, also a nice little fun tip for everyone: if you got a sling swivel stud, right, and this is as far as you can get it to turn, right? Nobody wants to have their sling swivel running this way, right? Nobody wants that. Take a punch, and you can usually turn it, but you don't want to sit here and no, just get it to where it's snug and get it to where it's about straight, right? But now the sling is free. So in our Black Friday thing that I do every year, basically I have a local gun shop that I do a fair amount of business with. He likes my work. I like the way he does business. So we kind of help promote each other, right? So rule rider, pay attention, right? Get in good with all the other gun shops, okay? Don't necessarily become drinking buddies with them, but get to the point to where if one of them passes away, you get told about it and go to the funeral, right? Because what I do on Black Friday is they let me set up a table and I kind of show off some of my work. I got bluing samples there, Cerakoting samples, checkering samples, all that fun stuff. But while I was there, I actually had a couple people, and this I thought this was weird as hell. I had a couple people show up and they're like, dude, I see you on TikTok. I follow you on TikTok and all this other fun stuff. I'm going, cool. I don't know what to do with my hands now. Do I okay. Like I said, I don't understand why people watch. But then again, I've also sat here and realized that there's a lot of people that watch other people play video games. I don't get that either. Oh, well, it's like watching sports, professional sports. Yeah, but okay. I still got 3 people watching. Hip, hip, hooray. And I got a like. Oh my God, Uncle Mike's. This is why everyone hates you. The threads on this sling are just starting to fall apart. But this will get fully disassembled tomorrow and go in for a good sonic cleaning. What do I do with the tag? There's the tag. So yeah, I can sit right there. Now let me put this up. Holy hell, now I got 3 likes. What the mess? That's becoming popular. And I didn't even have to show off my titties. Oh, goody, another weather update. Now, something else I'll sit here and recommend to you, their rule rider, is to go ahead and if you don't have a background in welding and machining and things of that nature, you need to. Okay. Now, I don't know how Penn Foster does those courses, if they even offer those courses, right? But if they do, you need to take it. Okay. So on and so forth. Yeah. And also just understand that, sorry, I'm looking at the weather radar here. Oh, hell, it's not going to be bad. They're sitting here talking about tornadoes. I've lived through worse. Eh. Anyways, even once you have a background in welding and all that fun stuff, understand you're going to screw up. Okay? I have screwed up multiple times. Okay? The biggest thing is be honest and upfront with your customers and compensate them accordingly. Okay? Now, what does that mean? For instance, I had a firearm come in that he stripped out the screws. I can't remember what gun it was, but I remember they were the screws for the scope. Okay, he stripped them out. They were already the 8x40, right? So yeah, I had to TIG weld them up. Okay, now granted, this was not an expensive firearm. I remember that much, thank God. But I sat here and cleaned everything up, flat out told him, I was like, look, it's going to ruin the bluing, right? So you would need to get it re-blued at some point in time. We offer that, right? Try to do the upsell. But he agreed, he didn't care, so on and so forth. I set my TIG welder super low, sat here, and as soon as I pushed the pedal, it sat here and burned a hole straight through the receiver. And we're not talking about a pinhole, we're talking about a good size hole, right? I sat here and went, oh, yeah. And I tried to fix it, but every time I tried to fix it, it just got worse. So I stopped immediately, contacted the customer, flat out told him, I was like, look, I'm sorry. Okay. This has never happened before, but it's happened now. Okay. Yeah. So I looked up the value of the gun. Market value was right around $400. And I told her, I was like, look, just for the headache and everything else, I'm going to drop another $100 for you. Right. So $500 total is what I gave him. Right. And that hurt. That hurt a lot. Hurt my pride. Also hurt the business's wallet. But yeah, I then took that receiver, right? And before the customer came back and picked it up, because I turned it back over to him, it is his gun, even though I screwed it up. I took it out, but upon looking a little bit closer, they saw some inclusions in the metal, that kind of thing. They go, this would have happened to everybody. Chalk it up, write it up, you're done. Okay. Now, granted, this customer was super understanding, right? And he goes, yeah, it has a lot of sentimental value to me. He goes, but $500 is still too much. We sat here and fought over that before he finally put the $500 in his pocket. And that same customer has brought me multiple guns since, right? Because I was honest with him. Okay. So that's integrity means a lot. So that's just a little tip for everybody, right? Chug a lug. Cool. Yeah. Any other questions? Because if not, I'm gonna probably head in here to the house here soon. Because I've got a little bit of stuff I can do, but not while I'm live. So yeah. So it is 6:05. I'll give it another 10 minutes. See if somebody's got a question. Hey, I'm up to 4 people watching. Four. Almost got a handful. All righty. But yeah. Woo, that was a big lightning bolt. It's over 10 miles away, so I'm not that worried about it. Oop, there it is. Don't know if y'all heard that, but yeah. It's that next storm cell coming through. Yeah, man. Fun times, fun times. Anything at all? I'm just trying to sit here and look at the weather a bit. Yeah, and I'll sit here and show y'all. It's really and truly not that bad, so I'm not that worried. Hey, do I have any shotgunners that are sitting here watching? Especially the old stuff. Okay, wait, I got a question. Chug a lug. I got a Remington 700 that needs to be drilled out. I'm not looking forward to it. One thing I hate doing. What do you mean drilled out? What do you mean? What are you drilling out? What are you doing? Because now it sounds like you're a gunsmith, and I like talking shop. I really and truly do. If you don't believe me, ask Undead Hamster. So yeah, awesome, awesome. And that's, I honestly feel like integrity is what's being missed from everything. Okay. And I also really and truly believe that there are people out there that don't understand. Sometimes you screw up and it can't be fixed, right? Plain and simple, right? Um, I've had people come in with guns like the Remington 742s, right? That the receivers are just junk. There's no longer any locking services for the lugs to get in, right? And people are like, well, this was granddaddy's gun and it blah, 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 so on and so forth. Um, yeah, yeah. And then I have to sit here and tell them, I'm going, well, it can't be fixed. Well, I've got a cousin who said it's possible because he had it done, at this other shop. Cool, take it to that other shop. I don't feel like risking it. You see what I'm saying? Because those receivers are paper thin, right? And yeah, some people love me, some people hate me. Another fun one, guy brought in a Mauser 1888 commission rifle, the one that's actually got the barrel sleeve over the top of it. He brought it in for a cleaning. Gun hadn't been cleaned in 20 years, right? Um, and one of the things that I did because I saw something inside the barrel is I went ahead and removed the barrel sleeve, right? It had some dents in it, by which, granted, isn't a big deal, right? But he asked me if I could get it off to call him and let him know. And I was like, okay, that's not a problem. But what I saw was a slight bulge at the muzzle end of the barrel, right? Not like that far from the end of the muzzle. But I got it off, called the guy, basically told him, was like, hey, this can't be fixed. This is a new barrel. Well, can we cut it off and recrown it? No, because your barrel sleeve's too long at that point in time. Could we cut and resolder the barrel sleeve? Yes, but at that point in time, I honestly feel like I'm cheating, right? Because somebody's going to look at that 10, 20 years down the road when you're no longer with us, and because this man was already in his 80s, and going to think that it's original when really and truly it's had about an inch and a half cut off of it. So he understood. So rather than getting a lot of the dents and that kind of thing out, I just left him in, cleaned everything up, lubricated it, and told him not to fire it and that kind of stuff. Yeah, those 742s are horrible. Juggalo, no, just machines, but the scope mount screws. So wait, you're drilling out the scope mount screws? Yeah, I've got something here. This thing has saved my bacon on more than one occasion. These are expensive as I try to drop it, but they are cast aluminum that are precision machined, all that fun stuff, which that's a little off because I don't have it tightened down, right? But this is what I use to drill and tap every receiver, shotguns, rifles, that kind of thing. I've got the extension somewhere. It's somewhere that extends out to where I can even do iron sights, right? But I love this thing. You got little bushings here, which just slide right in and out. This one's being a little stubborn for some reason. I probably need to lubricate it. But honestly, if you're not TIG welding or anything them up, great. If you're just drilling them from like the 6 whatever, because there's several 6s that they use, and to an 8, great. What you do is you'll just line this up on top, right? Because it will float back and forth. Make sure you get your locking bar put in as well. That way you can always go back to the same spot. And you can run this with just a cordless drill. Really and truly. It is a wonderful product, wonderful piece. But once again, it's expensive as hell, right? I think on their website, I want to say they're like $1,000, right? And I don't think I told you their website. But here, I'll put it up here. So it's Forrester Products, okay, out of Illinois, which this kind of dates it when you say, 3-letter to state. This is an old one. Their new ones are basically the same, but they have a few upgrades, but which are handy. But that one I actually got from my old mentor when he passed away. I was actually looking at buying one, and all of a sudden the family calls me up, and it'd been a year or two after he passed away. And I was like, hey, I've got all this gun equipment and stuff, books, yada. Do you want it? Hell yeah, let's take it. So that's one of the things that I got from him. Yeah, like I said, they are not cheap by any means, but they've also got look like center punches because that's basically what they are. That will go down into that as well. So you take the bushing out and put the center punch, and take a big ass hammer and one good time to leave a good mark. And yeah, it works really well. I don't have those punches anymore, those because I worked on a Mauser style at one point in time that was so daggum hard, right? That I couldn't drill and tap it, plain and simple. I screwed up more tools than I could replace with the money I was getting paid. Um, like I had a solid carbide bit, right? I tried working it stupid slow because that's what some people tell you. I ran it stupid fast because that's what other people tell you. What I will say this is it burnt up a carbide bit. Okay. Yeah. Actions I do not drill and tap. And it was an American something something out of California. Yeah, it's actually what I'm building my Mauser 45 off of because yeah. Oh, cool! I got 5 likes. and only 4 people watching. So that means someone left and someone else joined, which is awesome. And yeah, cool. So Ray Cobb, what's wrong with the third 742? What is it doing? Because in my experience, it's going to be dirty as hell because those things weren't built for the user to actually be able to tear apart and clean. Or it's going to be the whole gas system. I've gotten so many of them that are just corroded out that they don't work anymore. So yeah. Oh, I figured I'd tell y'all this as well. I was offered a sponsorship the other day, and I turned them down because I refuse to have sponsors to do this kind of stuff. I'm not going to tell you what company, anything like that. But yeah, I thought it was weird. Once again, I didn't realize that people actually watch me. I don't understand. But yeah, they emailed me. It was like, oh, hey, we represent blah, 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 blah. We've sat here and watched some of your TikToks and your YouTube videos, and you're the perfect fit. Give us a call back for a sponsorship. Our rates are usually blah, 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 blah. Give us a call. And they gave me a number. And it wasn't a 1-800 number, right? So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Now, what do you use to polish with? Because me personally, I love these things, right? The Flex Homes, I love these things, right? This isn't a paid advertisement or anything else, but I just love them. The only thing I hate about them, right, is that you have to use their oil, right? Oh, well, why can't you just use any oil? I don't know. I have tried using other oil in the past, and it didn't work. Not worth a flip. But using their oil, which is expensive as hell, it's like $40 a quart. Um, Works great. I love it. And then usually what I'll do, and you're going to sit here and laugh at me, but it works, is I will get a spit cartridge. Where's one? Here's one that I did on an old 12 gauge shotgun, right? Awesome. But what I do is I just get a piece of rod. This is brass. I drill out the primer on an old casing, send here and JB welded in, right? And then on the outside, which this one needs to be cleaned up because I didn't do it last time, is I will put some JB polish on it. Let me see if I got the polish here. Yeah. So this stuff, JB polish, right? I run it in my cordless drill, stupid slow. Sit here and polish on it for a minute. Don't apply a lot of pressure. Just really kind of let the polish do its work. Pull it out, swab it, do it again, swab it, and it will shine like a mirror, right? So my flex homes, I usually do broad strokes. That is really getting into the fine details then. Yeah. Oh, here's another one for you gunsmiths out there. See if y'all heard of this. The Browning BARs, the hunting rifle, right? Not the military rifle. So, it's got the gas piston up there that's pretty much held in with a roll pin that's like barely sticking through, and it runs in a channel and all that fun crap, right? When I went through school and everything, I remember them just saying, hey, if it's a Rumble page, no, I haven't. I'm not really interested in starting another one, Chug-a-lug. But I was told, if you drop the piston in and it runs in the channel, right, just fine, yada, 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 then it passes, right? But if it tries to slide out too far or slides all the way through, you need to replace that roll pin. Well, I had one come in. Guy was talking about failure to eject, right? Failure to extract chamber, cleaned everything up, took it outside, put 5 rounds through it, man, just ran like a top, right? Um, Customer came by, picked it up, called me the next day saying, hey, I can shoot it, but it won't reload, right? I'm going, holy crap, I'm sorry. He brings it out. I put 2 rounds in the magazine, and sure enough, you sit here and squeeze the trigger, and the bolt does not even try to move back. So that told me a gas issue problem. And I told him, I was like, look, this is under warranty still, blah, blah, blah. I'll get it done. A couple days later, I call him back up and had it done, working great, right? And even shot it there in front of him. He asked me what was wrong. That little bitty nub, right? That little bitty roll pin that holds in the piston, it passed the drop test, right? So you drop it in and it didn't go out too far, right? I can't remember the measurements right off the top of my head. Forgive me. But what I noticed was you were able to sit here and turn it 360 degrees, right? So sometime in between me originally getting it fixed and shooting it with 5 rounds and him taking it home, that piston had gotten turned to basically an off position, right? So I basically put in a new one, but I had not ran into that before. So I've ran into where they're just so wore out that they'll slide all the way through, but not to where it's just enough to, yeah, do that. But when he showed back up, I had him bring a couple of rounds of his ammunition. I loaded it up, shot it right there in front of him. He was overly joyed. So, yeah, because he said it'd been 4 or 5 years since he took it hunting because it wasn't extracting. So, yeah, that was fun. But all right, I'm going to give it 5 more minutes. And if I don't have another question pop up, I'm going to have to go. Mainly because it's almost 6:30 and it's time for my supper. Okay? I was fat and I was hungry. So, yeah. But Chugalog, what is a Rumble page? I don't know what that is. Is it like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok? What? Because I'm going to try to put more effort into YouTube here. That's what I'm trying to do. But I just need a little bit more engagement. Oh, yeah, I get the carbon fouling all the time. All the time. That's why, honestly, I bought, you see that right here. That is my sonic cleaner, right? One of them. I've got another one like that. That's the big one. That right here is the little one, right? Um, yeah, it's great because I just disassemble the guns, throw them in it, let it run for 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, depending on how bad they are. Pull them out, blow them off with some compressed air, lube everything up, which I clean with ballistol, wipe it down, then lubricate it with oil or grease. Right? These are the ones that I use personally. It's like YouTube, but less restrictive. Okay. I have not had an issue with YouTube yet. Okay. Everything I've wanted to sit here and talk about on YouTube, I've never had a problem with, right? The reason I'm getting tired with TikTok is one, I can't show a lot and can't discuss a lot, right? Um, so yeah, it gets to kind of be a bummer. And then you get all of these so-called experts that take a snippet of what I said out of context. And yeah, like I am still getting loads of hate mail from people on the 4-pound trigger pull thing. For those of you who might be watching who don't know, I actually made a video on the old TikTok stating that I don't understand super light trigger pulls. And when it leaves my shop, it's set to 4 pounds, right? Plain and simple, because I have seen them go off. And people are like, well, if you have the fucking safety on, well, yeah. But I have seen it multiple times to where, it's a really light trigger. We're talking 2 pounds or less. Animal comes out that's getting ready to be harvested. They get excited or whatever, and gun goes off, negligent discharge. Actually had a friend of mine actually shot his brother-in-law by accident because of something similar. So yeah, but yeah, I'm just a hack. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But anyways, I'm gonna get off of here. Y'all have fun. I'm gonna go get something to eat. So yeah, if y'all want, let me know, and I'll try to do something like this on a fairly regular basis. Maybe once a week, maybe, but we'll just have to see. Anyways, y'all have fun. End. End.